Quarterback news, Tom. Quarterback news that came down within the last 30 minutes out of Miami, where we have already made a decision the Dolphins have on Tua Tagovailoa this week.
That's right, Andrew. No surprise here, but Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel says Tua Tagovailoa will not play this week against the Jets, which means backup quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, the well-traveled veteran, will be starting in Tagovailoa's place. At this point, Tua still in the concussion protocol following the injury that he suffered last Thursday night in Cincinnati. This, of course, also comes against the backdrop of a lot of other things going on between the NFL and the NFLPA. The NFLPA initiated an investigation that is now being conducted jointly. Tua is expected to speak with those investigators this week. The NFLPA has already terminated the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant who is a part of that concussion check with Tua. And Ian, the union and league also still finalizing updated protocols that will address the gross motor instability loophole, for lack of a better term, that allowed the doctors to determine Tua had a back injury, not a head injury, that caused him to stumble at a time that, let's be very clear, everyone involved continues to insist Tua did not have a concussion in that game 8 days ago against the Bills. He obviously had one on Thursday night and has continued to gather further information on that injury.
Yeah, and it's clear plenty of caution is now being exercised for Tua Tagovailoa and not going to play this week, and we already know that, which means it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater. And, you know, there's a lot of reasons you sign a backup quarterback, Tom, and I think for the Dolphins, when no one was really sure what Tua was going to be, Bridgewater was paid a lot of money, a very high backup salary to come in and be a tremendous number two option. And, you know, it's an investment that most teams hope ends up being a waste because you never want to see your starter out. What the Dolphins have now is a quarterback in Bridgewater who has plenty of experience, plenty of starting experience, can really be put in any situation, and can go in there and more than hold his own in an offense with, you know, as much talent as really any offense in the NFL. So obviously it is a drop-off considering how Tua has been playing, but the Dolphins have protected themselves in the event of an injury, which unfortunately is happening now for Tua, who, as you mentioned, should end up meeting with investigators early this week in this investigation, which should end up wrapping up within a week or so.
But the headline today, Teddy Bridgewater will start Sunday against one of his former teams here. He was a Jet for about 5 minutes before getting traded to the Saints. Teddy Bridgewater, your Dolphin starter week 5. Teddy's also a former Bronco, Tom. They got very bad injury news this morning. One of my favorite players, and you kind of knew it when you saw it, Javonte Williams has a long recovery ahead of him.
That's right, Andrew. Javonte Williams suffering a torn ACL that will end his season with the Broncos, as Ian reported, also has a torn LCL and additional damage here. So a lengthy recovery here for Javonte Williams. The full expectation is he will be getting back to full strength. For the Broncos, Melvin Gordon, of course, was re-signed as the veteran to really be the number 2 this season behind Javonte Williams, but he's had fumbling issues that have been a big problem so far as Nathaniel Hackett tries to build some momentum for that offense. They also have Mike Boone, who got quite a bit of work in that game yesterday against the Raiders, but there is no replacing Javonte Williams, one of the exciting players, the physical players, breaks a ton of tackles. Ian, that's a big piece of that offense that they're not going to have as, again, Hackett, Russell Wilson and company try to get that thing rolling.
Yeah, and they're not the only team to lose their starting running back, Cordero Patterson. The Atlanta Falcons starting running back has really been one of the better stories of this year and last year, too. Really flashed as a full-time running back last year. Now out 4 games after being placed on injured reserve. He's been battling a knee injury, really painful knee injury. Tried to give it a go on Sunday. In the end, needing a procedure, which happened this morning. Relatively minor procedure, so should be back right at 4 games. But Cordero Patterson now on IR, and to fill his roster spot, Caleb Huntley, who has impressed himself, as have really, honestly, all of the Atlanta Falcons running backs as they ran, 14 straight times on Sunday. He has now been signed to the active roster to take CP's spot.
Browns without Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney knew it was coming there in the second half, and they could not stop it. Meantime, the Jonathan Taylor injury, not the only one, Tom, from that Colts-Titans game in Indianapolis. Tell me about Titans rookie receiver Treylon Burks.
Traylon Burks suffering what Ian and I reported earlier today is turf toe, diagnosed after additional tests. Certainly looked like it could have been something worse than that, but that can be a very painful injury, a sprain, a stretching of the ligament under your big toe. The expectation at this point, as we tweeted, is that no surgery is going to be required here for Burks, but he quite possibly is going to miss multiple games, eventually could land on injured reserve. This was a big piece of that team. We saw him have a bit of a breakout game on Monday Night Football against the Bills a couple of weeks ago. The guy that they drafted with the pick to replace A.J. Brown, now Traylon Burks, not going to be on the field, and they're going to have to find a way at a time. The Titans seem to be building some momentum on offense, particularly in the first halves, how to replace the productivity they're getting from that promising rookie.
Not to be dramatic, turf toe doesn't sound too bad for the person sitting on the couch at home. Ask anyone who has had it. It's bad.
No, it's awful.
And it takes a while. So the Titans will be without Traylon Burks. We'll see how long that takes.